U.S. Army fields Ukraine-inspired mobile fire teams to counter drones. The U.S. Army has fielded mobile fire teams in Lithuania, adapting a concept developed and battle-tested by Ukrainian forces fighting drone swarms since 2022, and deploying it along NATO's eastern flank as part of the Eastern Flank Deterrence Initiative. Soldiers from the 5th Battalion 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment 52nd ADA Brigade conducted zeroing operations with mobile fire team vehicles near Baltadvaris, Lithuania on May 9, 2026, according to imagery and information released by the unit. The vehicles themselves tell the story of improvised urgency meeting military engineering. A common remotely operated weapon station, known as Crow, was removed from an older platform and custom welded onto a high-mobility multipurpose wheeled vehicle HMWV to create a purpose-built counter-drone fighting vehicle. The result is a fast, maneuverable truck-based weapons platform capable of engaging unmanned aerial systems with directed fire while moving through terrain that fixed air defense installations cannot cover. Since mid-2023, Ukraine's military has deployed what it calls mobile fire groups, known by the Ukrainian acronym MVG, across the country's defensive network to counter the avalanche of relatively inexpensive kamikaze drones that Russia has been firing at Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure. These Ukrainian units, typically operating light tactical vehicles equipped with anti-aircraft gun mounts or heavy machine guns, proved that mobile distributed point defense could meaningfully degrade drone attack effectiveness even without sophisticated radar-guided systems. Their success in defending urban areas and critical infrastructure against Shahed's drones demonstrated a tactical model that militaries with far greater resources than Ukraine's took notice of, and the U.S. Army's mobile fire team vehicles in Lithuania represent a direct institutional descendant of that Ukrainian operational experience. The 52nd Air Defense Artillery Brigade is one of the U.S. Army's primary air defense formations, responsible for short-range and very short-range air defense across a range of threat environments. The 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, within which the 5th Battalion operates, has a history stretching back to the 19th century and has evolved continuously to address changing aerial threats, deploying a battalion from that regiment to Lithuania under the Eastern Flank Deterrence Initiative places dedicated American air defense capacity at one of NATO's most strategically sensitive points, directly between the Kaliningrad Oblast, Russia's heavily militarized Baltic exclave, and the Suwalki Gap, the narrow land corridor connecting Poland and Lithuania that military planners on both sides have identified as a potential flashpoint in any NATO-Russia conflict. The Crow station, at the heart of the mobile fire team vehicle, is a well-established system in the U.S. military inventory, developed by Kongsberg Defense and Aerospace and produced under license for American forces. The Crow allows an operator inside a protected vehicle to aim fire and observe a mounted weapon system through cameras and a digital control interface without exposing themselves to direct fire. Originally deployed extensively on mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles in Iraq and Afghanistan for force protection against ground threats, the system's integration onto a dedicated counter-drone platform represents a mission expansion that its original designers did not anticipate. The custom welding required to mount the Crow on the heavy-medium multi-wheeled vehicle rather than its original host platform reflects the kind of field-expedient adaptation that the drone threat has forced on militaries at every level of sophistication, from Ukrainian territorial defense volunteers welding gun mounts to pickup truck beds to U.S. Army engineers fabricating dedicated counter-UAS fighting vehicles in theater. The Eastern Flank Deterrence Initiative, under which these mobile fire teams are operating, represents the U.S. military's sustained commitment to reinforcing NATO's eastern border in the years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, the three Baltic states, share borders with Russia or Belarus and have been the recipients of significant allied military reinforcement since 2022, including the permanent basing of a German-led NATO battlegroup in Lithuania and rotating deployments of American armor and artillery throughout the region. Adding a dedicated counter-drone mobile fire capability to that presence addresses a threat that has reshaped ground warfare in Ukraine and that NATO planners now treat as a baseline assumption for any future conflict on the continent rather than an edge case. The drone threat that mobile fire teams are designed to counter spans a wide range of system types and attack profiles. First-person view kamikaze drones, the small commercially derived weapons that have caused disproportionate casualties and equipment losses in Ukraine, can be built for a few $100s and are nearly impossible to intercept with expensive radar-guided missiles in a cost-effective ratio. Larger one-way attack drones like the Shahed 136 are cheaper than any interceptor missile, but expensive enough that layered defenses combining gun systems, electronic warfare, and dedicated point defense can degrade their effectiveness. Mobile fire teams fit into the gun-based layer of that defense, providing coverage for the gaps between fixed installations and the ability to reposition as threat axes shift.